been investigating renewable forms of energy, so we thought we'd bring you out on this boat because of course wind power is renewable energy. So how does a boat actually use that wind energy, Peter?
Well, instead of using an engine to move the boat through the water, we simply hoist the sails and the wind can move the boat through the water, and you don't use any fuel. It's very quiet. As you look around, there's no noise at all. It's a beautiful way to travel on the water. Beautiful way.
Sure. So if we wanted to use wind power to generate electricity, how would we do that?
In a very similar fashion, the same way that the wind pushes the boat through the water, the same way that wind would also turn a turbine. It's a bit like the little things you used to buy in the shop as kids, where the little windmill would turn, and that turns a generator, and that generates electricity. It's exactly the same theory. It's just instead of moving the boat through the water, it's simply turning the blades, and you'll see them on top of the hillsides, and it's a very renewable. The downside is, as you can see around you today, there's not a lot of wind, so we're not moving very fast through the water. In the same way, if this was a wind turbine, the turbine wouldn't turn very fast. And this is one of the problems with wind energy, is that whilst it's very renewable and it's a beautiful form of energy, we don't know when the wind's going to blow, and we don't know how strong it's going to blow.
Sure, so you can't just rely on wind power. Now I noticed on this boat you also have a solar panel.
Yes.
How's that working and what is it doing?
Well, this is a PV panel, a photovoltaic panel, and what it does is it takes the sun's rays and it converts it into electricity, and that way I don't have to come near the boat. I can come back to the boat 2 weeks later, and I know that my battery that starts the engine and powers the lights and various instruments around the boat is going to be fully charged, because this will provide the electricity to keep that battery topped up.
Okay, so it's using the sun's energy to make electricity stored in a battery. So how come we don't see a whole lot of panels all around the country? Because that seems like a really good idea to utilise the sun's energy for electricity.
It is a very good idea, and unlike the wind, the sun is a little bit more reliable, certainly here in New Zealand, and these actually don't necessarily need sunlight, they just need daylight. So even if there's a cloud base, these will still work, maybe not as well, but they will still work. The downside of photovoltaic panels is the cost. They are very, very expensive, and they don't have a big output. So this unit here has only a very small trickle charge of electricity. It's just enough to keep my battery charged up. It's not enough to turn a motor or to move things. So the output's quite low. It's very good for keeping batteries charged up. It's not very good for powering motors and moving things around electrically.
Yeah, I can imagine. So there's two forms of renewable energy. I'm sorry, it doesn't look like we're going to get much sailing today, not enough wind, so we'll have to go and investigate another form of energy just on land, I think.